What if I told you that one of the NBA's best scorers right now is an unathletic white guy that nobody even wanted? Yes, before Austin Reaves was dropping 50-point games, hitting playoff game winners, and becoming a key piece on a championship contender, he was just a kid from a tiny town in Arkansas that many people didn't even believe could play college basketball. In fact, he didn't even get drafted, but now he's dominating the entire NBA. So how did Reaves go from being so doubted to being trusted with the ball by one of the greatest players of all time in clutch moments? And why did he go undrafted in the first place? Well, to understand that, we have to go back to Newark, Arkansas in the late 2010s. Austin Reaves, born to mother Nicole and father Brian, who both played Division I basketball at Arkansas State, with Nicole averaging 21.3 points during her collegiate career and Austin's father finishing third all-time in assists, it was clear what sport their youngest son was born to play. But it wasn't actually his parents who helped Reaves to develop a love for basketball. No, that was actually his older brother, Spencer.
He instilled work ethic. He would always, sit me down and be like, you're from Newark, Arkansas, the town of 1,000 people. You're gonna have to do more than everybody else. It's not gonna be easy.
Combine the eldest Reeve dragging his younger brother to the gym alongside him on a daily basis with Austin's love of the NBA.
At a young age, I was honestly a Kobe fan. I really liked Joe Ingles. That was someone that, he figures it out.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Joe's tough. Yeah.
He can do multiple things. He can play make, he can make shots. He's pesky on the defensive end, and he talks a lot of trash.
Saw the Newark native make a shocking decision.
My best friend's dad, which was our baseball coach, I remember we were driving home. He was taking me home, and I told him I was quitting baseball, and he told me that basketball wasn't going to work out. And I was like, well, we'll see.
You see, Reaves' baseball coaches taking one look at the young athlete.
He also saw the metrics, skinny white boy.
Yeah. I was small. I didn't grow until my junior year of high school, so.
Simply assumed that Austin had zero chance of playing basketball in college, let alone the NBA. However, Austin Reaves just didn't care.
He didn't say, I want to play in the NBA. He said, I'm going to play in the NBA.
But Reaves' insane internal confidence meant nothing without hard, dedicated work, something that Spencer made blatantly clear to his younger brother as Austin headed into his junior year of high school.
He pulled me to the side, we were working out, and he was like, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to just play overseas? He was like, you can go play overseas right now. He was like, you don't have to get any better. He was like, you can go make some good money, play overseas. And he was like, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you want to, be an NBA player, you got to do more. And so I did more.
Yet, even as he entered his senior season at Cedar Ridge, Reaves just wasn't passing the eye test for not only collegiate scouts, but also his opponents.
When you're a white guy, it's like you're a shooter and you can't play defense. That's just the knock
that's
on
a fact.
you.
So, Reaves just used this as motivation.
I walk on the court and everybody be like, I got the white boy. I'm like, it's going to be hell. I don't know, in 3 possessions, your coach is going to ask someone else to come guard you.
However, even with Austin averaging a shocking 32 points per game in his final high school season, colleges really weren't all that interested.
It was interesting because I only had probably 3 or 4 scholarship offers. I think I averaged 32 my senior year, 8 and 5, and it was crickets. Besides, other than I think it was Wichita State, South Dakota State.
But once again, Reaves simply used this as fuel to the inferno of motivation boiling inside of him.
People would be like, it's crazy. You're psycho. The way you play basketball is not normal.
Showcasing his incredible passion throughout his freshman and sophomore campaigns at Wichita State before transferring to Oklahoma for his junior season, a decision which changed everything for Austin Reaves. As after redshirting his initial season, Reaves went on to average an insane 18.3 points throughout his senior year, and after a practice, his head coach, Lon Kruger, told his point guard something shocking.
Lon Kruger, followed me out of practice one day and told me, he was like, I think you could be a first-round pick. And once he said that, I was like, oh, like I got a chance.
Yet, NBA teams tragically didn't share that same belief as Kruger.
The feedback we got from coaches was he's not big enough, he's not strong enough, he's not athletic enough, but they make weights for a reason. So
because franchises in the 2021 draft were looking for two things.
Go young, go athletic, and I wasn't either of that.
Bro, why do you think you weren't a first-round pick? Like, do you think in your heart at the time, you're like, well,
you know why?
I'm not allowed to say it.
Actually,
okay?
I know why. You know how that is.
And I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
Because they look at the judge a book by its cover situation.
However, Austin Reaves' agency, AMR, worked with their clients to come up with a secret plan, one that they believed guaranteed Austin a spot on an NBA roster.
The plan was, we knew LA had a two-way open on draft night, and knew it was a situation to where I could possibly step in, get a contract. And they called it 42, and they came up to me, and it's every kid's dream of hearing their name called on draft night. I'm no different, but it came down to sticking to a plan, and that's what we did.
Yet, despite this plan paying off, landing the Arkansas native a two-way contract with the Los Angeles Lakers, what happened over the course of the 2021 Summer League saw the historic franchise begin to second-guess their decision.
I went to the Summer League game, and he wasn't shooting the ball. And it was crazy. You asked Austin today. It was halftime. I walked over and said, hey, man, come here. Never met him. I said, you want to make this team? You need to shoot the fucking ball. Like, bro, you out here. I said, shoot the ball, man.
Because Reaves, despite entering the NBA as a dynamic guard who could both score and pass, his summer league averages of 11.4 points on under 30% shooting from the field was far from the impressive numbers LA had hoped to see. Therefore, Austin following the same path which his brother had paved and ending up playing professional basketball overseas, which is still an incredible achievement, by the way. I don't know why this is and has been so demonized for so long, but anyway, seemed more and more likely. But everything would take a shocking turn shortly before the 2021-2022 season began.
Thank God Brown had the mini camp.
Ever since LeBron James joined the Los Angeles Lakers in 2018, the four-time champion would hold preseason, mostly player-only, from what I understand, I might be wrong about this, mini training camps, in which each and every athlete on his squad's roster was invited, including this random two-way guy the Lakers had picked up from Newark, Arkansas.
Got the invite. We get in the gym, and I think we got to playing like 3-on-3 or something. Got a couple buckets, and then drove downhill, ate, and I thought I had a layup, and then AD come out of nowhere, and I was off. And late second, kind of like behind the back pass to him, he come down the lane, dunked it. And then it was just from then on out, like they were like, you're good, like just be yourself.
But it wasn't just LeBron James and their other superstar, Anthony Davis, who Reaves had gained trust from. No.
We had all these veterans on our team, right? And that was, we had our Bron has his little camp in Vegas. We had our mini camp. Austin Reaves was the best player in the gym.
Was he?
He was the best player in the gym, and he started out as a two-way. When that camp was over, the Lakers signed him.
When Austin got drafted to the Lakers, or not drafted, but picked up,
right.
I was like, I don't want Austin Rivers. And then I was like, oh, it's Austin Reaves. I want the kid from Wichita State.
Yet Reaves, knowing full well how fortunate he was to not only be in the NBA, but be surrounded by all these elite players, entered his team's true training camp with an impressive mindset.
I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't get recruited out of high school that much. I was too old coming out of the draft.
Whilst also locking in to learning as much as humanly possible.
Frank Vogel come up to me early and was like, I want you to, be around Rondo. Like, ask him whatever. And it got to the point where I was asking him so much questions that I was like, damn, if I was him, I'd be annoyed. So I told him, I was like, look, if I ever ask you a question you don't want to answer, just tell me to f*** off.
However, as Austin suited up for his first NBA regular season game, the former Oklahoma guard was set to face an issue he had never battled before, as once the buzzer rang out on the Lakers home court, Austin Reaves had received his first ever did not play. Yet, quite literally in their next game against the Phoenix Suns, Reaves' whole professional career would take a dramatic turn.
Game 2, we played Phoenix and we were getting beat by like 30 going into the fourth, and Frank was like, yeah, go ahead.
But even with Austin adding 8 points throughout the fourth quarter, playing alongside Hall of Famers presented Reaves with yet another problem he had never had to overcome.
There was obviously a couple times my first year where I don't want to say defer to him, because obviously I should at that point, but there was a couple times I probably made the wrong play trying to give them the ball, and both of them come up to me and was like, look, you don't have to do that. You can, you can be you. And from that day forward, like, that gave me so much confidence to just be me and constantly just do the right thing.
However, even with the full trust of one of the greatest players of all time,
but also saw the knowledge of the game and the willingness to want to work. If you working, bro, if you working,
IQ and work, bro, and talent, skill.
How can I not love you?
Austin understood early a concept that LeBron himself had applied throughout his 19-year-long career.
It started off just taking one day at a time, obviously, but making every day, as good as it can be the first one to the gym. It was just simple stuff, and put in the work, because at the end of the day, how it goes. Like, if you try to take shortcuts and mess with the game a little bit, it doesn't end up well for you. So
an incredible work ethic, which saw Reaves' career take another massive turn on December 15th, 2021.
Final seconds, out to Reaves, three-pointer, bang! Reaves gives them a 3-point lead with 9/10 of a second remaining. No timeouts for Dallas. Bullock from half court. Oh, off the mark, and the Lakers survive in overtime.
Austin Reaves' shocking game-winning bucket saw the rising guard earn an even larger rotational role, now averaging 7.5 points on 46% from the field throughout the remainder of his rookie campaign. But it was ultimately throughout his squad's final regular season battle in which something even more shocking would happen.
Pass it out. Reaves for 3. He got it. Try to implement the steal. And they take it away. There you go. Reaves with it. Reaves on the run. He scores it to tie it up.
Because not only had the Arkansas native, who was quickly being dubbed Hillbilly Kobe, saved the Lakers in regulation, but Reaves had also dominated in overtime.
Reaves for 3. Hits.
An amazing 31 point, 16 rebound, and 10 assist night. Austin's first triple-double in the NBA saw the rookie excited for an explosive sophomore campaign. However, faced with the intense expectations of the Los Angeles Lakers championship goals, could Austin Reaves really be that guy next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Or was this initial year simply a fluke, the product of increased minutes due to a hobbled roster? April 16th, 2023. After spending his full sophomore season solidifying himself as the Lakers' true third option,
he has an intangible, and that is toughness. Like, he's a dick. He competes every night. Winning and losing matters to him. And we've seen him make big shots, buzzer beaters, big shots down the street. Like, he has a level of mental and physical toughness that I love.
Thanks to averages of 13 points on 52% from the field and 40% from 3, whilst throwing 3.4 dimes a night and scoring a brand new career high of 35 points, Reaves was excited to showcase his incredible talent tonight in his first ever NBA playoff battle. Yet, as this Game 1 matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies progressed, neither team could truly get ahead of the other until...
It was the fourth quarter, probably 5 minutes ago or something, and I had got a bucket or two.
Out to an open Reaves for 3. Puts it in. Reaves fakes. Reaves behind the back. Hachimura, three-pointer. Puts it in.
Ended up, taking over that game. That's when it, really took off with the confidence that they had in me, not to just, play the right way, but just to take over games and dominate games and win games for us. So
Reaves a 3. Bang! Reaves from way downtown. Reaves 21 points, 3 assists. Gets inside, off balance, jumper, got it to go!
A shocking fourth quarter takeover, which had brought Austin's total to 23 points on 62% from the field, that showed the rest of the league just how talented Austin Reaves truly was. But things only got better, as over their next 5 games against Memphis, Austin's 15.2 points, 5.2 assists, and 5.8 rebound averages were vital in allowing his Lakers to move past the Grizzlies in 6 games and propelling them into a second-round matchup against the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors.
I got a text from one of my really good friends before the series started, right when we won last series against Memphis, and he was just like, no pressure, but you're about to be in one of the most, the biggest rivalry of like my life.
A series that 12 of 14 experts predicted that Golden State would claw their way out of, and as the ball was tipped for Game 4, it seemed like the Warriors were about to make those beliefs a reality. However, after finally catching his breath after an intense initial 3 battles,
You literally can't ever relax. And I remember game 1 and 2, chasing him and Clay around, and I couldn't make a shot. Everybody's looking at me like, why can't you make a shot? I'm like, I ain't got no legs.
Austin Reaves seemingly refound that same touch which had allowed his Lakers to get here in the first place. Efforts, when combined with fellow LA guard Lonnie Walker's insane night that saw, despite a Game 5 loss, the Los Angeles Lakers advancing to the Western Conference Finals. But once again, experts were almost certain.
And I've just grown tired of betting against LeBron. Are we back? So I am picking the Lakers. We're back in this series. My guy, in 7.
That Los Angeles' rival, the Denver Nuggets, were going to be the squad heading onto the ultimate stage of basketball. A belief that, even with Austin stepping up in incredible fashion, averaging 21.3 points on a shocking 55% from the field and 56% from 3, which tragically came true. Yet, despite the devastating loss, Reaves had earned his first legit NBA contract, a 4-year, $56 million deal that locked in the rising star as the Lakers prepared to not only return to just the Western Conference Finals, but hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
I just want to get back to that point and more.
However, were they actually good enough? Because while Austin was an insane pickup by Los Angeles, their superstar LeBron James would be heading into his 20th season in the league, and Anthony Davis had been struggling with injury after injury, making it seem like LA might not have the talent to achieve those dreams. Or would they? December 31st, 2023. After a poor start to this fresh season, Lakers head coach Darvin Ham opted to shift his rising third-year guard to an off-the-bench come in and get buckets role, a decision that tragically changed nothing, because heading into the new year with a 17-17 record, any championship hopes the Lakers had were growing smaller and smaller with each passing day. Meanwhile, issues within the franchise were only growing.
So there was a lot of things that, happened this year that, you had to be mentally tough to get through. You got to fight your way through it. And, that's one thing I'll give myself credit for is, I never folded. I never, felt sorry for myself. Obviously, there's frustrations, but I woke up every single day and went to work and, tried to get better and tried to help our team win.
Therefore, Coach Ham decided to go back on his decision, returning the Arkansas product to the team's starting 5, and thanks to this move, plus Reaves' repayment of Darvin's trust with 16.4 points on 50% from the field and 5.9 assist averages, saw Los Angeles incredibly go on a 30-18 run to round out their 2023-2024 season. Yet their reward for winning the play-in game and earning the 7th seed in the Western Conference was none other than the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets. But this was a challenge LA had overcome just a year ago, so the Lakers' second round hopes remained high. However, Reaves was facing some serious on-the-court problems throughout games 1 and 2.
I'm frustrated with myself, not really playing well the first couple games, and even into that game 3. I wasn't good enough. I hold myself to a high standard. Those first couple games, I didn't do what I needed to do to help us.
As due to Austin failing to look even remotely like himself until Game 3, the Lakers found themselves in a hole no team in NBA history had ever come back from, down 3 games to 0. And while LA had managed to secure a W in Game 4, it only delayed the inevitable.
I'll think about that all summer and train to be better and try to come back and, like I said, be better next year.
So, having come far short of their NBA Finals goals, the Lakers franchise looked to make some huge moves heading into their 2024-2025 campaign.
We start our show with breaking news. After 2 seasons at the helm in Los Angeles, head coach Darvin Ham has been dismissed. This was first reported by our Adrian Wojnarowski.
Now, JJ Redick has signed on a 4-year contract to become the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
But replacing their head coach was a minor change compared to the one which occurred in February of 2025. But before we get there, Reaves was focused on impressing his new boss through their debut game for the 24-25 season.
I knew he was a great player before I took this job. Been around him since July, and he every day it's like he just keeps getting better and showing more. And I didn't realize he was this good. I knew he was good. I didn't realize he was this good. He's a fantastic basketball player.
And after he had recorded 28 points on 67% shooting from the field and 71% from 3, he had done just that. However, it wasn't only in the scoring column where Reaves was impressing, because throughout their Christmas Day battle against the Golden State Warriors, Austin's 24 points,
Reaves, quick release, nails the 3,
was backed up by an incredible 10 rebounds and 10 assists, all culminated with a shocking last-minute bucket.
Reaves on the drive, inside layup, he banks it in with 1 second remaining, no timeouts. Here comes Curry, launches in 3/4 court. Oh, off the mark. And the Lakers win a thriller.
An insane game-saving layup that Hillbilly Kobe followed up by throwing 16 assists in their following battle against the Sacramento Kings, and then tying his career high of 35 against the Boston Celtics, whilst also dishing out 10 dimes. But guess what? Things only got even crazier, as in the absence of the injured Davis, Austin was clearly LA's second option, and now playing under a new leader, Reaves was taking full advantage of his newfound trust.
He didn't play like a white boy. It was very different. His wiggle was very different. I mean, I grew up in Northeast Ohio, so I know white guys playing like white guys and white guys playing like the brothers.
Reaves feels like shooting every time. He is shooting every time.
However, on February 2nd, 2025, the most shocking move in NBA history had just happened.
So I pulled up Instagram and I seen Sham's tweet or post or whatever called Aaron and Reggie, and I was like, what the f-? And they were like, there's no way this is real. And I was like, all right, cool, like let me know if you hear anything else. Call one of our assistant coaches, Bo, and I was like, what the f-? And he was like, and that's all he said. And I was like, what? Like, he was like, it's real. And I was like, okay, how do you, like, why do you know that? Like, and he was like, I'm sitting by Max Christie. And I was like, oh, like, this is actually real.
A trade that not only shocked the NBA world, but saw an important question arise regarding Austin Reaves' role on the Lakers. Because having now acquired someone who was quickly becoming one of the greatest playmakers of all time, a player who would likely require the ball in his hands, how would Reaves fit in next to Luka Dončić? Well, before we even got to find out, due to Luka still recovering from an injury sustained during his Dallas tenure, and with LeBron benched, Austin made his case for retaining his go-get-buckets role against the Indiana Pacers.
Flow state where everything's working, shots that, probably aren't great shots that they're going in, passes are getting through, like everything's working the right way. You definitely want to live in those moments more.
Going out and doing some shocking things.
That's, to me, is not what that trade was all about, Dave. Reaves drills it free. And what that represents for them. Reaves hits the foul line jumper. He's got more points than the Pacers right now.
Which brought his point total to a brand new career high of 45 points, while still throwing 7 assists and pulling down 7 boards. Yet, despite proving he could play alongside Luka and LeBron, thanks to his 21.9 point on 48 48% from the field shooting, plus 5.2 assists and 4.8 rebound averages since the trade occurred, the new look Lakers' true first test would be against the 6th-seeded Anthony Edwards-led Minnesota Timberwolves in round 1 of the 2025 playoffs. A series that, even with LA barely having a full month to adjust to their new lineup, most assumed that they would dominate.
The Thunder, a Boost Mobile bundle, WWE Royal Rumble. Lakers in 5.
However, once again, despite showcasing some hope during Game 2, with Austin again faltering, averaging just 16.2 points on 41% from the field and 32% from 3, tragedy had struck Los Angeles.
I think it comes down to just us not being us, and obviously I didn't have the series that I wanted to have, so you can point the finger at me. I really don't care. I wasn't good enough to help us be successful, and I wish I could have did more, but I didn't. I struggled, but you live and you learn, and I can guarantee that I'll get back to work this off season and be better.
But the Lakers' hopes remained high after the series loss. A full offseason of building a clear identity, followed by a strong 2025-2026 campaign to develop chemistry, plus the addition of a true big man in DeAndre Ayton to pair with the three-headed playmaking snake, seemingly saw the Lakers as one of the 2026 championship favorites. Yet, could they really live up to those expectations? And could Austin Reaves finally convert his regular season showings to the playoffs? Well, before those questions could be answered, Austin continued to battle something he had faced his whole career.
You guys are elite athletes, right? Like, at what point?
That's debatable.
As doubt began to seep in regarding Reaves' ability to be that third option, especially considering his lackluster athletic talents. But Austin Reaves had some tricks up his sleeves.
By NBA standards, you're not big and strong or fast, explosive, but you're big enough, strong enough, fast enough, and here's my advantage. If I hit him before he hits me,
it's all timing too. It's almost impossible to guard somebody if you're sliding and your left foot's in the air. If I bump you and your left foot's in the air, it's almost impossible, unless you're just strong, real strong, it's almost impossible to stay on balance. It helped me always being smaller than everybody and not as strong because I had to figure out how to use my body.
Secrets which, as the ball was tipped early in this fresh season against the Sacramento Kings, in the absence of both LeBron and Luka, Hillbilly Kobe got to work at showcasing.
Reaves, got it! Reaves, got it! On its way for 3, got it!
A shocking 51-point, 10 rebound and 9 assist night in their victory, which the Arkansas native simply followed up with 41 against the Portland Trailblazers in their very next game. However, Reaves wasn't only silencing the doubters when it came to his play. No, as both himself and Dončić had formed a close bond.
Me and him, the whole relationship was just talking trash back and forth.
Especially after all. He called you a friend. You're friends, right?
He wants to be my friend, but I'm not allowing it.
Proving the pair could do more than just coexist on the court, because with the addition of the potential greatest point guard to ever grace a basketball court, Reaves only became deadlier, dropping 38 against the Dallas Mavericks,
Reaves attack mode, shot the roll,
33 on the New Orleans Pelicans,
and they leave him alone for an instant. You can't leave him alone.
Then 44 versus the Toronto Raptors, and 36 on the Boston Celtics heads.
I'm just trying to play the right way. That's kind of what I wanted to do since I got in the league, just continue to play the game the right way. And then obviously the trust that, the coaching staff and the players have in me builds me up to, kind of go do what I do. So it's just fun to get out there and play the game the right way and, have team success.
Yet, despite starting this season averaging 27.8 points, 6.7 assists, and 5.8 rebounds, issues started to arise after Reaves was forced to miss a month of action thanks to a calf sprain. Because upon return from injury, the squad Austin arrived back to wasn't the same one he had left.
Frustration level, just the way that you had control of this game, a couple of different occasions, they come back, all the threes that they hit, all the frustrating plays, and a third straight loss.
Very high.
As not only had the Lakers struggled to close out games against the Orlando Magic and Phoenix Suns, but as the season was nearing its end in a battle against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Lakers would lose both Austin Reaves to an oblique strain and Luka Dončić to a hamstring injury, a devastating fate that, even with LA entering the playoffs as the 4th seed, saw almost everyone predicting that their first-round rival, the Kevin Durant-led Houston Rockets, would easily dispose of the injured Lakers.
But let me be very, very clear, okay? Lakers going home very early, at the most 5, and I anticipate they might get swept.
However, LeBron James, in his 23rd season at 41 years old, had no interest in fulfilling these prophecies, because the aging superstar would go on to average 25.3 points, 8.7 assists, plus 9.7 rebounds, and saving his Lakers in Game 3, allowing his franchise to hold an incredible 3-0 lead. But Houston, desperate to make history, slowly began to claw their way back, because even with incredible news,
this just in, multiple sources are telling me right now that Austin Reaves and the Lakers are optimistic that he'll make his return to the lineup on Wednesday night in Game 5.
The Texas franchise had shockingly managed to win both Games 4 and 5, resulting in many believing that the Rockets were about to make history.
They are in trouble. As a matter of fact, the Rockets are going to win this series.
Ooh.
Everything right now, the Rockets,
wow.
the Rockets,
wow.
Yes.
History.
Yes, making history. And I'm sorry because Braun is going to be on the wrong side of it.
However, LeBron James, driven to not only defeat Father Time, but the Texas franchise, came out and shocked the NBA world.
I told him after the game, and I just went over to him and was like, you're insane. It's the stuff that you're doing, it's not normal. Like, especially age, whatever. He's been in the league for 23 years. The way he demands a game, the way he can control a game. Yeah, I'm just happy that I don't have to play against him.
Combined Braun's 28 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds, with Ayton's dominant defensive effort and Reaves' 15 points on 50% shooting, Los Angeles was now moving on and preparing to face off against the defending NBA champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yet another series that nobody assumed the Luka Dončić-less Lakers could win.
Yeah, I think it's asleep.
So, was this the end of the Lakers' 2026 playoff run? Or would Austin Reaves, LeBron James, and maybe Luka Dončić continue to shock the NBA world? May 7th, 2026. After once again struggling throughout Game 1 of the second round series, shooting just 3 of 16 from the field and producing a measly 8 points, so many questioning if Austin Reaves truly deserved to be on the Lakers next season.
I don't know if it's worth paying Austin Reaves $30 million+ and then have cap space issues to get those opposing players.
Is he have to be with Luka and LeBron? Really? They got some needs on that team. I don't know, as we look at this now, who are you going to move? What are you going to do? Hachimura.
Which resulted in AR desperate here in Game 2 to truly turn things around and prove that even without Dončić, the Lakers could be that squad advancing to the Western Conference Finals.
Reaves off the penetration, floats it up and in on a kick for Hachimura. Returns it, Reaves connects for 3. Not making it as easy for the Lakers to double. Splashes from the outside.
However, even with Reaves producing an insane 31 points on 62% from the field and 50% from 3, the Thunder were simply unstoppable. Not even a 27-point outing during their 4th battle from Austin could see LA produce a single W as the defending champs took that next step towards going back-to-back, resulting in even more questions being raised about AR's role in Los Angeles moving forward.
The decision it feels like they're going to have to make is, do they believe Austin Reaves is the second best player on a championship team? That's the question. Luka is good enough with the exact right pieces around him. We've seen it to go to the finals, but you have to be real careful. The question is, Austin Reaves is a very good player. No one questions that. Is he good enough to be the second best player on a championship team?
Speaking of championship level players, have you ever wondered when exactly Anthony Edwards became a monster? Because while he did enter the NBA as his #1 pick, he wasn't always like this. Well, to find that out, click the video on your screen right now.